Alright folks, welcome back. This is Balatro every day, and today, I think I owe the Magic deck more respect. On Gold Stake, by far, the hardest part is the early game, just the first couple antes, and I think these Fool cards have a pretty good chance of helping us out, making the early game a lot smoother, easier. There's the seed for today, I'll put in the video description if you want to play along. Here we go, Gold Stake Magic deck. Alright, economy tag we don't want. Skip for $4, we don't need that. We go for the spades flush here instead of the full house off of the 2-pair. Full house. Okay. 10s and 6s, sure. Usually what I'm looking for with the Fool cards is some kind of early planet card that I can copy. Maybe Judgment is not bad to copy because we can get jokers that don't have stickers, so maybe you won't have to deal with rentals, won't have to deal with perishables. Crafty Joker. Do we want to go again? Probably. Stuntman, very powerful, but maybe as a rental, maybe more power than we need. We don't need this, and so maybe I don't want to pay the rental fee for something that I don't need. And then maybe also the buffoon pack here we don't need. Let's do the Fools. Alright. This is a clear direction. We could play flushes if we want. If we are playing flushes, then the Supernova is not going to be that impactful. You're not going to be able to play that many flushes per round. It's just a few flushes, maybe even just one flush per round for the first 6 rounds. Maybe that's fine. Probably the safest play is you actually just get rid of Crafty Joker and go back to spamming pairs like we were always going to. In that case, I think if I have Supernova, I don't need to use this Fool. Alright. So, flushes, that's a thing that you could do. Probably the safer thing to do is just play pairs off the Supernova. So I can play the pair of 3s. Now that we have a little bit more mult established, I can play a pair of kings. And the pair of aces is not enough, so I could go for a flush here. I could go for 2-pair. Maybe 2-pair is not enough either. Maybe we do need... Diamond's not going to happen. So I guess, what am I looking for? Could be spades. Could be we get more spades here. Sure. How about I discard this ace? There we go. Alright, so obviously here, if we don't draw the flush, we just lose. You could use the Fool for Judgment, and then that gives you kind of a safety net. If we wanted to play this round much safer, so the first couple pairs that we played like a pair of 3s or something like that. We didn't get any points, right? So probably what you're supposed to do is play just higher ranking pairs, and then we would be fine, and we wouldn't have to worry about it. Oh well. This is awkward going into the next round because we only played 3 pairs instead of 4 pairs, so we're going to be a little bit underpowered. Maybe that's okay. And then now we have riffraff, so none of this matters. Maybe business card as a money generator. Northern Line, mail-in rebate. This might not be the most difficult run of all time. I think I go try to get the flush here. Rebate on 10s. I think I should do it. Okay. So the flush with +2 mult is not going to win. And then we can follow up with some pairs. So it could be... Pair of aces probably wins. Let's play the pair of 8s instead. Less chips, hoping to get less points. Pair of 7s, and these are all good jokers. That's it. Alright, so now the thing that we're looking for is a source of chips, and so maybe it makes sense to sell some jokers to make room for the riffraff. Maybe we take the Chad here as a source of chips. And then the Chad, we can retrigger the business card. So this is chips, and then we got the supernova. So now that I know I have chips and molt, now we're fine to do just pairs. Go next. Rebate on 8s. So I will play the pair of 2s, which again here, not that many chips, not that many points, but I can save my discard for the 8s. I can play 2 jacks. Okay, another pair of faces will win, and so I could consider trying to play maybe high card. King won't win, and then I can save a discard for the rebate. So here I'm just trying to get the extra money from the business card. And then that's it. Play the pair of queens. And now we have a ton of money. So 500 points for the pair of faces. So the next round, 3 pairs will do it. For the boss, we need a little bit more. Probably Spaceman is the thing. So this is kind of scaling source of chips. Let's go, before we make any decisions on jokers, let's go Arcana and then copy something with the Fool. I can make a gold card. I could spin the wheel here. Probably we are supposed to make a gold card, so let's go gold. How about gold king? And I don't think you use a fool to copy devil. I think we can use the fool to do much better things later. We can try a buffoon pack. Here, bus in addition to the supernova. Having the both of them is pretty good, though I maybe don't want to give up my ability to play pairs with face cards. I guess if I'm thinking about, okay, in the shop there's the Spaceman. If I do take the Spaceman, what do I sell? Probably the thing that you sell is the business card anyway. Maybe you get rid of the Chad. No, we need the Chad in the short term for the chips that it gives us. I think instead of taking the bus here, I take the Spaceman. So it takes 4 hands to get 1 level. So if you play 4 pairs per round, that's 15 chips per round. So it's kind of like a square joker, is the way that I see it. And then I'm fine taking that as an eternal. Let's go next. All right, rebate on aces. Let's play the pair of 8s. Okay. Pair of 7s gives me the opportunity to throw away a 3 here. And then I can discard the ace. Okay, the next pair probably wins. I could try the pair of 3s, attempting not to win. I could... So if I'm thinking that this doesn't win, then I play this pair and then try to draw an ace here. If I'm thinking that it does win, then I discard and try to pick up the gold card. I don't feel like doing the math. Maybe we could talk about the math a little bit. So, I don't know, this is... Supernova is... Let's say it goes up to 11, 14, 14, and this plus the Chad, I don't know. Maybe 30 times 14. This probably wins. Yeah. Around like 500 points, that makes sense. Okay. So against the boss here, if we're only getting like 600 points, maybe 700 points for the best pair, maybe what you need in the short term is you need something like baseball card. But then I have to get rid of something, which is a little bit awkward. But maybe that's the way that you beat the wall. The Chad is perishable. Let's go Celestial Pack. Because here I could take V-Nets. Probably not going to be that meaningful. Standard pack, we could get, that's a fancy 9. Probably we rely on Supernova for the molt. We could use the 9 as a foil for extra chips. Could be pretty powerful. Also, it's a lucky card. I do take blank. Decide whether or not we want this baseball card. If we're taking baseball card here, get rid of Northern Lion or get rid of the rebate. I like keeping Northern Lion, so we get rid of the rebate here. Feels bad. There's a trading card. Okay. There's also a banner we can replace the Chad with. Gives us better chips, or at least permanent chips. I think I'm willing to do this. There we go. We got 2 value generators. Look at that. Go next. Alright, so we can snap off a 2 here if we want. We can play a pair of queens. And then it's 2,000 points, no problem. So let's play the pair of 5s. We can discard the aces. Discard the high cards, try to play the lower pairs to stall a little bit further so we can get more supernova value. Great. Acknowledging here, we do have quite a big discrepancy in our score if we play either low cards versus high cards, or now with the extra level, now scoring way more points, right? But, you know, kind of around that 2,000 point range. Extra discard, great with the trading card. We could take the blue joker here. Boss says base, chips and multi-halved. Let's go Celestial Packs. Since we still have this Fool, I could use the Fool to copy a Mercury card. I don't feel that we need to do that. I could maybe sell the baseball card here and get 1,000 points per pair instead of 2,000 points per pair. Yeah. Though, there we go. Extra discard could be useful. Maybe I don't need it that bad. I don't know, it's only $4, right? Alright, so I can snap off another 2. I can play... Now I'm expecting less points, so let's play the higher pairs. There you go. Well, I'm not doing a great job keeping track of how much I'm scoring round to round. So how about a pair of 4s? Play the pair of 4s. Followed up with 6s if we need to. And then Fool for Mercury if we need to. Oh well. Plus 16 on the Supernova is not bad, but it's admittedly could be better. Celestial Pack. No more Mercury here. Maybe if we have trading card, maybe 4 of a kind is a reasonable long-term plan. I could go Sun. Make hearts. If I'm going to play pairs, I go gold card, maybe gold queen. Gold face cards. Save money until after the Chad goes and then we can replace it. I could snap off a 5 here. I could start with the jacks. Let's snap off the 5. Let's try to pair the 9 because it's lucky. Maybe... Okay. I'm gonna start with the pair of kings, because I think the 9s will win. Okay. Well, could play high card here. I'm gonna play the 9. Never lucky. Alright. Against this boss, we're gonna have half as much chips and molt, but the molt comes from the supernova, so really it's just half as many chips, which is half as many points. Okay, let's sell the Chad. It's a common Joker, so we could get another Chad. Could take Jolly Joker here as sort of a short-term emergency molt. 2 Arcana packs we can re-roll. Take Strength and Devil. Actually, we could do both because playing on the Magic deck, we have the Crystal Ball. Okay, Fool number 2 is going to be Hermie for sure. With my Strength card, I could save it, but I think maybe Strength 8 and Jack. Also, I can make a gold card. Could be Gold King. And then with the Fool, go Hermie. Okay, so now we have money, and with that money, we can try to get more Jokers. Could be Michelle here. Instead of Jolly, it could be Cartomancer. I like a lot, especially with the trading card. Maybe we go Cartomancer instead of Drunkard. Cartomancer I like better on the Magic deck. I don't think we can commit to another Eternal Value Generator. Maybe not a Rental Rocket. Okay, I think with the extra molt from Michelle, I think we don't need to spend more here. We did... Okay. This boss is going to reduce our chips. We also lost our chips Joker. And so maybe there could be some slight concern there. I'm going to make another 9. Since I have the fancy 9, let's make more 9s. Could be 9 of spades, since the first boss was spades. Getting rid of a 4 here. Alright, do we feel that we have enough points? Or do we need to spend 10 bucks to try to find a chips Joker? Let's go next. This is not going to be easy, or at least that's the expectation, is that it's not going to be easy. I can play the pair of kings first. I very certainly want high pairs. Getting the level here is huge. Okay. So we should be fine from here then. Another level up. That's not terrible. We can snap off a 2. At this point, maybe I'm looking for an opportunity to use another death card. Probably the foil 9 is best, though maybe copying the gold cards is not the worst. Let's go try to get that 9. Oh, or we just win. Cartomancer as a rental, we're paying $3 per random tarot card. I think is worth it, actually. If I am playing pairs, Certificate is the answer, so that we can try to get blue seals. Certificate instead of Cartomancer here. If I sell the Mystic Summit, then Overstock shows me 3 new cards. This boss, play only 1 hand type. Taking a foil Joker, maybe you could consider, but since we have high enough chips from the pair levels, we don't need that. In which case, we check a standard pack for a blue seal. Could take a gold seal 5. Maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe if I have Certificate already giving me seals, we'll just skip here, go Arcana. Could be Strength on an 8. I think I do. Full Death is fine. 8 into 9 is good. Maybe Queen into King. Also useful. So now my target pairs are these 9s, maybe Kings, maybe Jacks. Maybe later we get a photograph for the face cards. With the Certificate, I'm looking for a blue seal to copy. Go next. Gold seal 10. I'm gonna be slightly picky and say no, I don't want that right now. Snap off the 3. Play the pair of 8s. Or discard first. Discard first is probably fine. I can play the 10s. Next pair wins. Play the pair of 9s. Alright. There's DNA. DNA, I could probably spam these 9s. I could probably spam the gold seals. It is perishable, so I don't get to do it forever. Maybe I'd rather just keep the certificate. Though, make a bunch of 9s, do 4 of a kind. Like, that seems like kind of a fun idea. Yeah. And then use the death card. In that case, let's go Celestial Pack, Mars, or Mercury. I think maybe the Mercury card is not that important. And I think the 4 of a kind is reachable because we have the trading card. A lot of the time you can get there, you can, win with just pairs, but if you are able to upgrade to some kind of higher scoring hand, then you can get rid of Supernova, you can get rid of other stuff. Alright, I take Temperance here. Because I have a death card, I'm not going to reroll. I'm going to save my money until after my jokers are gone. My perishables are gone. Try to get those 9s. Alright, so I didn't get the 1 9 that I was looking for, but I could still make a 9. I could make a gold king. Maybe making a bunch of kings is good, especially if they're going to be gold. I am closer to getting 4 of a kind if I do 9s, so I think I do the 9s. You don't have to use DNA, but I think I will anyway. Alright, play the 9s. Okay. I can play a pair of 10s. Against this boss, I don't get to use DNA. Maybe something we should have thought about. She left. That's also not great. I guess we already have 26 molt on the Supernova, so maybe it's fine. Too late to square up, probably. We already have plenty of chips from pair levels. 2 Arcana packs. Looking for the opportunity to use my death on the foil 9. No foil 9, but maybe we can make a steel 9. And then that's going to be useful much later on if we end up doing the 4 of a kind. I could make a glass 9. Yeah, so glass 9, 5 and ace, we can hang them, holding on to those phase cards. I maybe should have used the death card there and then re-rolled. For sure, that's what I should have done. Alright, so we could take Empress here. We could take Misprint just to be safe. Play only 1 type of hand. Alright, so snap off the 3. I can turn a 10 into a 9. Maybe I don't want to give up the 10 since I have the gold seal 10. Let's go ahead, turn an ace into a 9. And then lock in these pairs. Okay. There's a 10. So I can play these 9s. I probably don't need misprint if I've got the 9s here. This is fine. Then we got the 10s. In an emergency, we can play the kings, but it looks like it's going to be fine. 3 more rounds on DNA. So I can try to copy glass 9 or steel 9 or foil 9. We got a lot of options. This boss has 0 discards. Going back in time makes Supernova worse, but is kind of decent if we're going to be playing the 4 of a kind. Maybe. Let's go... Before we go Celestial. Okay, well, we could get the Chad. I think I do want that. So, Mercury, yes. Celestial, sure. Get that Mars card. And this other stuff doesn't matter. So, I don't know, it could be full house. Maybe you're supposed to take the plutonium if we're going to be playing iCard one time with a DNA. Spectral Pack before we commit to the Chad. We could get a blue seal. We could go possibly foil, possibly holographic 9. 1 out of 6 times you get polychrome. I think we go blue 9. Is good if we play pairs or if we play 4 of a kind. Either way, good. And the Chad here is going to be really good long term with these glass 9s. And then now all my jokers are eternal, so let's go next. I snap off a 6. I try to get a 9 to copy. Get a good 9. I can copy the steel 9. I choose to play pairs instead of the 4 of a kind. Okay, I can play this pair of 9s. Let's play this pair of 9s first, expecting it not to win. It's just the same hand as before, right? And then you play the foil ones. Because the foil ones will one-shot. Alright, boss says no discards. Okay. Mercury, sure. Plenty of money. So, could be the bull here instead of DNA. Currently that doubles our points. Doubles our pairs. We lose DNA, but maybe we're going to lose DNA anyway. This is a really safe pick, taking the bull here, and maybe we should do it for that reason. Alright, I feel like we've been featuring the bull a lot. I can make another 9. And I don't think we go back in time yet. Let's just go next. The bull helps me survive this boss pretty easily, and then we can set up our 4 of a kind for later. Snap off a 3, dig for those 9s. Alright, so the ideal scenario is we win with 4 of a kind. Is that possible? It is if I play the glass card. Right? So let's do it. Ow. Crunchy. Okay. If we go back in time, we can win with the 4 of a kind without the glass card. Standard pack looking for 9s. Could be blue seal jack, even though it's not a 9, it's still a blue seal. Could be immolate here, we lose the 9, the steel 9. That makes sense to me. Sure. Go back in time. And save the chips for the bull, so don't have to worry about this boss as much. 7 and 4, we can hang him. Ace, we can hang him. Maybe ace and 4. Play the pair of kings. Great. That was more than I thought it was going to be. Alright. We can. Boss says my card's going to be debuffed. I mean, we get 20,000 for a pair, so probably don't need to worry about that. Could be another blue seal here. Could be priestess. Sure. Maybe these planet cards we hold on to so that they don't show up anymore. I can snap off a 6. I can play the 4 of a kind with the 1 blue seal in hand. expecting it to one-shot. Is that true? If I'm expecting it to one-shot, then I discard. And then do this. And then make room for the blue seal. Okay. Okay. Mars cards, sure. And then we just want to get to the point where we have enough chips, we don't need the bull anymore. We want to get to the point where we have enough molt, we don't need supernova anymore. I mean, we don't need supernova anymore already, if we are able to play the 4 of a kind. You could take Onyx Agate, since we have, I guess we only have the 1 9 of clubs. There's a 9. Red Seal could be something interesting later. Let's go next. Alright, snap off a 5. Now basically anything that's not a 9 you just throw away. Here, the bonus 9 is fine to keep, I guess. Alright, 22 cards in the deck. I could dig for a blue seal by playing my high cards. Maybe slightly greedy to do that. Alright, but we have the crystal ball, so we play the 9s here. Last time we didn't get the plus 20 molt from the lucky cards. Also here we didn't get the plus 20 molt from the lucky cards. Alright. Okay, Burnt Joker we don't have room for. I have Justice. My 4 of a kind is 400 chips, right? Purple 4 is also steel. Seems useful. I think if I didn't have trading card, I wouldn't take the 4. Alright. Arcana pack. I can make a red steel card, I can make a red glass card. Red glass is more powerful, but then you play it one time and then it breaks and then you're sad. So why don't we go... I guess I don't have to use Justice here, but I will. I'm gonna go red steel instead of red glass. Kind of equally powerful. Not exactly, but similar ballpark. And I think even though we have the bull, now that we have the blue seals giving us chips, we can re-roll a couple times. Maybe just a couple. Greedy Joker here makes sense with the 4 of a kind plan. So if I sell Supernova here, I'm 100% committing to only playing 4 of a kind. And I'm kind of okay with that. Abstract Joker, Rebate. I like Rebate actually instead of Greedy Joker. Though Rebate on 9s is a little bit not great. Alright, so snap off the 8. I can discard the purple 4. I can't get any profit from this sun. Alright. This is gonna be good enough. 2 blue seals? Sure. Okay, we did it. So, Fool for Mars is probably a waste of a Fool. Boss says I'm not allowed to play pairs. Well, you know what? Fine. Could take a Mercury card. I'm not going to use a Fool for a Mars card, so I might as well just do that. Alright, try a Buffoon pack. Rebate on 7. We can sell it. Glutinous Joker, we said we don't have enough clubs to really make that work. The Fist kind of works with the steel cards, though maybe is not super important for us to do. I mean, we can take it, but it's not super important. Card Shark, probably not going to happen that we're going to be able to play 4 of a kind twice. And that's okay, we don't really need Card Shark. Fool, probably we keep it for either a Hungman or Death rather than taking 20 bucks. Go one more. Extra discard makes sense. So we can try to get those blue seals. We can try to get more rebate value. I think I like that. Go next. Alright, so rebate on 7s, just like that. Discard purple. Okay, so rebate another 7. Rebate another 7. I prefer the lucky 9s here. The Fool is getting in the way of the Mars cards, so I think I do use the Fool. And I think I do dig for slightly more 9s here. I guess I have to play these 9s, and so I don't get the full red seal value anyway, or I don't get the full blue seal value anyway. Oh well. Okay, so 2 steel cards with the plus 20 molt. We are fine this ante. The last card I used was a Hermit, so maybe we don't use the Mars cards in case another Fool copies the Hermit. Or maybe I'm okay with the Fool copying Mars, maybe. I think at this point I don't take more 9s, I think I don't take more steel cards. So we just skip. Then could be go one more. Alright, that's plenty of re-rolling. Could be Golden Joker instead of Drunkard. Definitely we hang him. Maybe 10 and 6 we're gonna hang him. And then go next. So rebate on 9. Snap off the 2. I guess now we could kind of play this game of how many 9s is it safe to discard. Right. I could probably get away with discarding at least 2. I mean, we have the Drunkard, right? I could play the 10 for the money on the Chad. Yeah. Jacks here, 9s there. Should be fine now. Glass 9 we don't need, so let's discard it so it doesn't break. I can... In an emergency, I could play this 4 of a kind with the Jacks. Maybe. Cool. So, 1 steel card, no luckies is 90k. Good to know. It'll be slightly more now that we have the Mars cards. Okay, 2 Arcana packs. I want to pick up some tarot cards before opening the Arcana packs. Bull is currently plus 50%. There's a Vagabond that we don't need. I could take a free reroll here instead of the Drunkard. I think the Drunkard gets replaced soon anyway. Okay, so Priestess gives me stuff that I don't really need. Hungman and Strength. We can open Arcana 1. 20 bucks. So Strength is basically just 8s. Maybe some consideration for turning 10s into Jacks. Or we just hang them here. I think we just hang them here. Hermie. One benefit to making more Jacks. I have 2 blue seal Jacks, and so maybe I want to have more Jacks. If I'm going to have Jacks in hand anyway, might as well be able to use them. Could be Dusk. Could be Justice. I guess Dusk doesn't do a whole lot, but I'm not claiming that this other stuff does a whole lot either. Alright. I have a Death card. So you can go Strength on the 7s. You can make a Glass 9, and then you can copy the Glass 9. And then we got 30 cards in the deck. Alright, let's go next. Alright, snap off the 8. And discard some 9s, draw some other 9s. I mean, that sounds reasonable, right? I could play the Gold Seal for quite a bit of money here. Right. I'll play a Glass card. Fine. I can go Lucky 9. Lucky 10. So here's a 10. And then we finish with the 9s. 1 Glass. We can put the Lucky in front for the Chad. Cool. We could go back in time again. I'm not really using my discards, so I mean probably we do that. Not really using this bull. Hey, look, a chariot. So sorry, what was the boss again? Oh yeah, discard random cards. That's fine. Bean is pretty good. Blackboard is probably not going to happen. Bean is good because we can hold on to more steel cards and blue seals. So you completely drop the bull here. Obelisk is interesting. Obelisk goes... Well... Yeah. Obelisk is great here. Rebate's done, right? We can grow the obelisk really quickly. I don't think it's necessary for us to do the obelisk, but we could do it. The thing. This stuff doesn't matter. Okay. We got $100 in the bank, but rerolls cost $10, and I don't want to spend $10 on a reroll. Could go Temperance here. All of my 9s, I guess I still have the 9s of hearts. I can use to make steel. I can use the chariot on the jack here and make a Zoolander. Go Temperance. Let's not go back in time yet. Alright, now we got the bean. So snap off the 6, discard the 4, right? I can make a gold card. I can play this 10. We can start with something like, could be a straight for the money. I need to make sure not to play a pair because we have the obelisk. I need to remember that. I can discard the 10. Gold 9. Okay, so we play 1. Do I want to play a high card here? Do I want to play 3 9s? Maybe? We can figure it out later. Alright, so we do that, then we go 1, 2. If we want to preserve the glass, we could do something like this, and the steel cards should win. We don't have to worry about glass. If we wanted to, we could start playing flush 5s, start leveling up flush 5s, but I mean, we already have a nice amount of points on the 4 of a kind. There you go. Level 25 4 of a kind. Two Arcana packs. 88 on the erosion. Doesn't matter. There is Cavendish. Instead of Dusk, probably. I guess it's perishable. Not something I'm super concerned about. Get a Hungman. Alright, in that case, open the Arcana pack. Use the Hungman on a pair of jacks. We can make another steel card. We can reroll for another Hungman. Maybe. Could be Mars card here. Mime makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I guess maybe I don't need Cavendish that bad. Bummer. Alright. Okay. So, could take 20 bucks here. Could make a gold card. Could make a steel card. We're getting closer to the end here, and so we can think about, okay, maybe I just take the thing that gives me points. Forget about 20 bucks here. This is just more points off of these steel cards. Go next. We can snap off a queen. The 8s could maybe turn into 9s with a strength card. Okay. Is it possible for us to win with high card accidentally? Doesn't seem likely. I think we don't have enough chips, but it is close. It is close. Alright, I can play this 9 without winning. And then 1, 2... I don't need this many 9s. In the interest of preserving the glass cards, maybe we do it this way. Cool. Times 2.2 on the obelisk. Okay. Could be a campfire. It does seem pretty likely that's something that we want to do. Sure. Instead of the bean here. Then we're kind of locked in, but maybe that's okay to be locked in. So, maybe what you do is with the bean, you just skip to the final boss. Campfire's more fun, right? There's a blue 10. I think maybe I don't need a blue 10. I don't really need to gas up the campfire right now. So I'm not going to buy these. I'm going to save a little money for the final ante. There's a fool. There's like a pretty good chance we end up using the fool for the emperor since we have the blue seals. We could go back in time. I don't think we need to. I think, you know, we have plenty of power here. Plenty of scaling. But if we go back in time, we can do the obelisk a little bit more. And I think that's a little bit fun. Alright, this boss could be a little bit spooky if random cards get discarded. Because I want to do the obelisk. Maybe let's play the 10 first. Play this 10. And then now that we know what we're dealing with, we can maybe snap off a queen, maybe discard, probably discard the gold king to try to get more 9s. Now, probably the steel cards get discarded, so you play the glass card just to be safe. Actually, with times 2.6 on the obelisk and times 2 on the campfire, the 4 of a kind wins even without the glass card. So without the steel card in hand, you score half as many points. No problem. Alright. This boss, face cards are debuffed. Bummer. Once again here, we don't really need the campfire this ante, but we keep the campfire for the next ante. Could be this stuff doesn't matter. I'm not going to take anything there in case I want to use the Fool. I might end up using it. Go next. Alright, trading card. We could snap off a king. We could play an 8. I could play a 9 here. Just double checking the obelisk. Up to ×3. Whoops. Well, that's not exactly plan A. Oh well. You could sell the Pluto cards. That's fine. I'll just use the plutonium. Stinky mime. Maybe I want this extra discard. In the wheel? Bummer. Never lucky. Okay, so now if I play the 10, this should be safer. With just one steel card. Okay. Okay, now we can snap off the king. Now we can discard the 8s. I can play 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. And Fool is blocking. That's okay. I feel fine about that. Play something like this. $4.5 million points. Sorry, just 4 million points. Soon to be 4.5. Base is already 1,000 points. Celestial pack. Mars card. Temperance. So could be Temperance copied with Fool, or does Fool want to be a Mars card instead? I think I'd rather have a Mars card. What is the point of the money? The money is you reroll to feed the campfire. Except, you know, once we get to ante 8, it's going to cost $10 for a reroll anyway. And so maybe the one Mars card is better. I want to play the 10. I want my high card to not win, if possible. And then we can snap off the queen. We can discard, looking for more 9s. The glass cards, I guess I'm supposed to discard them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that. Cool. Obelisk is ×4. Boss is the Violet Vessel. So we get some extra hand size. We could make a gold card. I guess I don't have that many cards left to even turn into gold. So the last couple planet cards that we got, we should have sold them to the campfire. I think Devil you do sell to the campfire. Alright. I could sell the mime to feed the campfire with all these jokers. We're missing out on a lot of jokers, but, you know, the mime gives us a lot of molt too, theoretically. There is an idol, is a thing that you don't normally get to see on the gold stake. Alright. I could turn things to hearts. Maybe. I'd be willing to turn my clubs into hearts, my spades into hearts. So here, none of these into hearts. I think I'd rather go to diamonds. So no sun here, no wheel here. Could be temperance for 16 bucks, or probably emperor is just better. If the thing that we want to do is the campfire, emperor is just better. I can strengthen my 8s. I told you I could strengthen my 8s. You didn't think I could. I didn't think I could. Let's go next. Or $10. And so this is why I didn't take temperance, because if I want to get more tarot cards, I have to spend 11 bucks and still I don't get tarot cards, so it's better to just take emperor. Right? Alright, I can strengthen the 8 now. I can snap off the 7. I don't have the mime anymore, so I could start by playing the 9 as a high card. Maybe we don't get to do any more of those. I think the king I can snap off. Here's let's go stone the 7. The benefit of making a stone card, then the idol doesn't see the stone card. The idol picks a random card in your deck, and so if you turn it into stone, the idol will ignore that card. I will discard the king here. I could turn a jack into stone. I could turn a 10 into stone instead. It's probably better. I don't need this glass card. Strengthen. Yeah, let's go jack into stone. And play these 4. With this few cards in the deck, I could be a little bit more deliberate about this. I could say, okay, well, if I discard a bunch of 9s, I know that I can for sure draw other different 9s. No problem. Idols on 9 of diamonds. Okay. Alright. So open the celestial pack. I forgot with the 4 of a kind. I should have once again fed the campfire. With the planet cards, there's a world emperor. Emperor gives me justice. Okay, so we go Arcana or we keep re-rolling? Maybe Arcana's fine here. Fool for Emperor. Fool probably wants to be Justice. Could be Justice here on the 9. Could be turn 9 of clubs into spades. Not necessary. Okay. That was a 9 of hearts. That's okay. Hey look, Cavendish is back. Fool for justice. Yep. Alright. Snap off a king now. Snap off the 10. This 9 becomes glass. Priestess, you can sell them. Okay, we could try growing the obelisk here. I have 2 steel cards in hand, so this is probably fine. Yep, definitely, probably fine. Okay, lovers. Maybe I could consider it. With the idol? Nah. Alright, I don't need these, I think. Maybe I save justice. So 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. I guess you could turn this blue seal into glass. Ouch. 9 of hearts. Okay, I mean, we could do that. That's fine. Alright. So, There's another Mars card. I forgot to sell the Mars cards again. Gonna get another 9 of hearts in here. Turns out the answer is maybe. Hyro. Sun. I mean, that probably does it. At what point is the flush 5 better than the 4 of a kind? Probably for right now, the 4 of a kind's better, but kind of makes you think, huh? Okay. Magician, Priestess. Don't need a Showman. Hermit should be at least, there we go. A couple more tarot cards. Don't need the tower. Though you could add a tower, you could add a stone card to a 4 of a kind. There you go. 7.5 on the campfire, 5.2 on the obelisk. We, of course, snap off the king. Alright. So I want to get my glass cards from the deck, of which I have 2. So I discard these. And I discard these. And okay. So 4 glass cards. I guess I don't use Justice here. Sun. Foil card in the front for the Chad. There you go. Okay. Alright, for this one, couple thoughts. When playing on the Magic deck, kind of what are the things that you're looking for early on to use your Fools on? I like using them on planet cards because then it gives me points without having to worry so much about Jokers. So you get a Jupiter card, copy it a couple times. You could play flushes, you know, maybe get a Saturn card, copy it a couple times. I like that start. A Mercury card, level 2 pair, not reliable early on, but if you even just a Mercury card copied with the Fools go up to level 4 pair, all of a sudden your pair is a real hand in the first ante, even without any Jokers. Fool for Judgment. I wouldn't necessarily use both Fools on 2 Judgments, but I could use 1 Fool on 1 Judgment, depending on what I get, depending on what's in the shop, depending on what I need. If I need more, then I will use a Judgment to try to get more. A very powerful thing that you could do with Fools is just hold on to it until you get Hermit later, but if you're holding on to the Fools until later, then you're not getting any kind of short-term benefit. And so you just want to make sure that in the early game, make sure that your bases are covered, and then you can be a little bit greedy with your Fools if you still have 1 left over. We had Supernova. We had the opportunity to play flushes. We had a good flush Joker, but on the higher stakes, on the gold stake, there's kind of the secret sauce is you play pairs. And one of the reasons that you play pairs is the deck building is a little bit harder. And so it's difficult to play multiple flushes. It's easy to play multiple pairs per round. Pretty reliable to play pairs. -1 discard, obviously that factors in, but it's not just this. It's not just the -1 discard. It's also small blind gives no reward money. It's also rental Jokers and perishable Jokers. It's also higher scoring requirements means I have less room for value generating Jokers. So all of those things combined, I just overall have less money, less resources to build the deck and then play something other than pairs. But sometimes there are sort of like key game pieces that enable me to play something that's not pairs. And so what I'm looking for is a tarot card generator like Cartomancer, or I'm looking for something like this. Trading card, I never pass it. And trading card, you make room for because it allows you to do stuff like this. And so you can very consistently play a 4 of a kind. Even if your deck is only, let's say, 6 9s, if you only have 20 cards, you can draw those same 6 9s every time. If you've got, even just a couple blue seals. Not a crazy amount of blue seals. 5 blue seals is not that many. It's above average for sure. Anyway, being able to draw the blue seals not some of the time, but draw the blue seals all of the time. Having the confidence that, oh, if I'm holding on to the blue seals, I don't have to worry. I don't have to risk not drawing my 4 of a kind. I can get it pretty consistently. And then, you know, if you have a steel card, you can draw that steel card every time when you need to. That's kind of the power of removing cards from your deck, and so that's kind of the caution against adding too many cards to your deck. Unless you're playing pairs and then you don't really care what's in your deck necessarily. So kind of respecting these value generators, especially early on. Early on, you don't need that much to score. Typically what I'm suggesting is you go 1 Molt Joker, 1 Chips Joker. And then on top of that, you get a second Chips Joker or a second Molt Joker or, you know, some kind of X Molt Joker. And if any of those things are scaling, then you're doing really well for yourself. And so we had Supernova as the scaling Molt, and sort of recognizing that the Spaceman, that can also be scaling chips. If you're only playing 1 flush per round, if you're only playing 1 straight per round, Spaceman sucks in that context. You know, if we're only playing 1 4 of a kind per round. But if you're playing 4 pairs per round, all of a sudden it's sufficiently good. I'm not going to say it's great, but it's good enough. It definitely can fill a gap in your build. If that's the thing that you're missing, this can give you the chips, the scaling chips, increasing amount of chips. And then always you can, well, if it's not Eternal, you can just sell the Spaceman after it's giving you a little bit of value. I don't think a rental Spaceman's typically worth it. Rental Square Joker, often I will do. Pretty easy, pretty obvious Obelisk run here. Not too much worth saying about that. With the Campfire, I think something people do wrong is trying to feed the Campfire too much. They get, you know, oh, I have this thing, I should try to feed it as much as possible. Well, what's nice about the Campfire is it is only as much as you need. And so you can kind of calibrate it. You can figure out how much do I need and then spend only that much. And so we had a huge bankroll. We had plenty of money in the bank, but we said, okay, I'm not re-rolling on purpose. I'm saving my money so that I can use it at a strategic moment in the future. I can use it to feed the Campfire in the future. I can use it to strategically re-roll for tarot cards or replacement jokers or whatever it is. And I guess once again demonstrating kind of how powerful the blue seals are. And so trading card, being able to enable the blue seals, being able to get with the crystal ball from the Magic deck, 3 planet cards per round is insane scaling. Insane scaling to the point where I actually don't need the glass cards. I actually don't need the steel cards. You can get kind of a jokerless victory with just this kind of level of 4 of a kind. Like this is already 200,000 points, right? Something like that. Anyway, consider mixing up, putting the Magic deck as part of your rotation if you're practicing Gold Stake and just want to change things up. Take care, everyone.